I did.
Shut up.
I just wanted to say hi to them.
Shut up. Face the wall. Turn around. Turn around. No sudden movement, sir. Give me your hand. Give me your hand.
Yeah. And you weren't really sparring. You were fighting. We were fighting all the time. And just guys getting dropped all the time. And that was just the kind of gym that I was in.
But this wasn't a real fight. He was pulling punches. He wasn't giving it his full effort.
Joe Rogan responded to claims that Jake Paul might face arrest over allegations of planning outcomes in boxing matches. He said clearly that no success or achievement is worth risking your life for. Rogan reminded everyone that boxing is a serious and dangerous sport that should always be respected. From what has been reported, he feels Paul needs to seriously rethink his choices before fighting again, because chasing money or attention through unsafe fights can lead to serious consequences.
You have probably seen some of the controversy he's been tangled.
Joe Rogan stressed that boxing is extremely dangerous and fighting without proper caution can end very badly. He also warned that being involved in anything illegal or staged inside the sport could bring serious legal consequences.
Because then you can't think, you can't do things, you don't know what the fuck you're doing in life. It's like literally everything is the quality of your ability to think. And I knew.
Nikisa Badarian firmly stated that neither Jake Paul nor his team did anything wrong or attempted to fix the fight. He addressed the widespread rumors about the Anthony Joshua bout being scripted and said they are completely false. Nikisa pointed out that people online spread shocking claims, including talk of an agreement for Joshua not to knock Paul out. He explained that Joshua fought honestly and with full intent, ignoring any such rumors. Nikisa emphasized that Jake trained seriously, fought genuinely, and took real risks in the ring. He also confirmed that legal action is being taken against those spreading false claims. For him, clearing this up is vital to protect the reputations of Jake and his team and to make it clear that the fight was real and not fixed in any way.
I've seen the script, rigged, this, that, and the other. Do you think now, at the very least, that talk goes away? Broke his jaw, went in there against Anthony Joshua. At the very least, do you think that you guys can move on from that? Like, that won't follow you?
No, I don't. I actually, our lawyers are actively going after a number of people. One who claims to be a lawyer himself online. I don't remember the name or the handle, but it was something that had like 200,000 likes. And basically this post said there was an agreement for AJ not to knock out Jake, but AJ disregarded the agreement and decided to not get his payday, but knock out Jake Paul. So it's pretty astonishing what people say. Your dear friend Lou DiBella, saw him put up a bunch of ridiculous things and even said, Nikisa, go ahead and sue me. But this wasn't a real fight. He was pulling punches. He wasn't giving it his full effort.
And so for the people, again, just to clear this up, because I asked Eddie this question, I'll ask you the exact same question. Once and for all, was there any sort of arrangement as far as it should go this many rounds? Because that's the one that I've heard. Oh, Anthony agreed to 3 rounds, 4 rounds. Can you tell us in black and white if there were any talks of any kind between the network, the promotion, the fighter?
There has never once in Jake Paul's career been any talk of that sort, of anything to do with the fight being anything but a real fight that has exactly the same situation as any professional fight. And that's exactly the same thing here for the Anthony Joshua fight. It's just beyond mind-blowing that people would think that. Anthony Joshua was on record saying that if he didn't finish him in the first round, that would be disappointing, that it would be a failure. The narrative changed as we got closer to fight night and obviously post-fight, and I understand why, but they were pretty adamant it would take max 2 rounds.
Joe Rogan has already warned Jake Paul not to take reckless risks like this again. He strongly advised him to think carefully before accepting dangerous fights, repeating that no career moment is worth risking your life. Rogan highlighted that the dangers of boxing are real and that chasing fame or money through unsafe or staged fights can lead to serious outcomes. He made it clear that safety and responsibility must always come first.
The thing, look at all them celebrities like dude from the Mighty Ducks, the little boy actor that got strung out on drugs. And all his fronts and all his teeth were missing from being on meth or whatever, whatever drug of choice he was on. There's no coming back from that. The people who like dissipate their teeth through drug usage, you don't get like a second set. So if I'm not mistaken, the dude from Mighty Ducks, somebody like he's been clean and they gave him a makeover and he has like pretty much fake teeth. So yeah. the teeth are going to be cooked. Now, I agree with the other part that Rogan was saying, but let's keep going.
I think he went into that fight knowing that was probably going to happen.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the big win for him would be that he was even willing to do it and that he could do well for a little bit.
Yeah, and I've already expressed my thoughts on this. I'm not giving no props for a person who says I am a real deal boxer because I went in and get smashed and got my jaw broken, but I lasted longer than Ngannou. But I was crazy enough to try. Because, to be honest, we're way past the honeymoon stage with a person like Jake Paul. You've been in this for long enough to go through fight camps, dedicate your time, effort, energy, money, spar with people. You spar with some quality names because you have resources and money or whatever. So we're well past that to the point where you just get credit for stepping in. You maybe got credit your first fight or whatever, first couple of fights, for coming from your background and, you know, stepping in and fighting, but we're well past that. You have a box rec. You were being ranked by sanctioning bodies in box.
Eddie Hearn gave a detailed breakdown of the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, focusing on the planning behind every moment. He explained that the fight unfolded exactly as intended, with Joshua's team choosing patience and control instead of reckless attacks. The goal was to slowly pressure Jake Paul, expose weaknesses, and test his stamina before landing decisive punches. Hearn said this approach reflects true professional boxing, where discipline, timing, and smart execution matter more than raw power. Each phase of the fight was designed to keep control while steadily taking over. According to Hearn, this strategy not only secured the win, but also showed boxing as a smart and calculated sport where careful decisions separate champions from inexperienced fighters.
He said before the fight, I'm going to break him down and then I'm going to knock him out. And that's exactly what he did. I thought it'd be all over within 3 rounds. But, you know, when I got in the ring after, because I was shouting, just, you know, anywhere, arms. I got in, he went, what are you rushing me for? And I was like, oh, sorry. So, but like, obviously he knows what he's doing, and actually now quite pleased that we got the rounds, to be honest.
Yeah, I saw you said that. Really random, I was on Twitter and I saw Jake Paul's mum said she wants to get in the ring and punch you. She said she doesn't like the smug look on your face. She is promoting her book, so I'm not sure if she wants, you know. But did you see that? What did you think of that?
No, I was very sad because I couldn't have been nicer and more respectful of Jake and what he's done. And I think Logan's amazing. I think he's an incredible athlete. And I shook Jake Paul's dad's hand in the ring, you know. And if I would have seen Mum, I would have said, all right. But I think over the years, we've obviously had our beef, and she probably don't like me anyway. And I am probably a little bit smug. I wasn't smug after the fight because I would have been more smug if it was all over in a round. Yeah. So, no, I give Jake respect. And, yeah. Sorry, Jake's mum doesn't like me, but if she can send me a free book.
Adam Catterall offered a blunt and honest view of the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, pointing out the imbalance created when popularity shapes matchups. He argued that Jake Paul's rapid rise is driven more by social media fame than real boxing experience. Catterall noted that even while holding back, Anthony Joshua showed strong control, timing, and accuracy, landing shots that caused real damage and exposed the clear gap between them. This difference led to talk that outside factors may have influenced the fight beyond pure competition. Rumors suggested Paul tried to control the pace to reduce risk and protect his image, reflecting wider concerns about celebrity boxing. Catterall's comments highlighted how hype-driven fights can weaken fairness and shift focus away from skill and traditional boxing values.
My own credibility, I've got to knock you out, but I've got to try and knock you out where I'm not hurting you as much as what I could if I unleashed. Yeah. And with the punch you said that he landed, it's not his best punch, his most powerful punch, right? Yep. And he's shattered his jaw in 2 places, right? So Anthony Joshua gets his 70 million, whatever it is. But I think he's sitting there thinking, thank God for that. Thank God. On a human level, I've come out, all right, I've sort of, not reputation, but I haven't hurt him as bad as what I could have.
There should be an awful amount of people breathing a massive sigh of relief. Anybody that put that fight together, athletic commissions, like you said,
it wasn't a fight.
No, it wasn't at all. Like you said, it was a prize fight. It was an event. If Anthony damages him, he's got to live with that for the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of stress to deal with. You know what I mean? So I'm sure he's bleeding in the side of relief. The team that have put him in there, that have negotiated that for him, But the authorities that put that on and commissioned it as a proper boxing match, I've no doubt.
Does that go on his? Because
yeah, it's a professional boxing.
Do you know what? If I was Joshua, I would be saying I don't want that on my record.
Well,
but for the credibility of them putting the fight on, they would have said to him, "No, we've got to say this. It's been commissioned. It's going to be a proper fight." And I found it. I love my boxing, but I just find the whole thing really, really unedifying. You said about get followers. You mentioned Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury is nowhere near is his level of getting like a British title fight or whatever. Nowhere near. So it's basically he's like
beat Jake Paul.
Well, oh yeah, sorry, yeah, beat Jake Paul. But so
but what I'm saying is that's 100. I stand by that, and I think Tommy would admit that. You know what I mean? To become a British champion is a very prestigious thing to do, and I think
Sam Jones gave an honest and direct reaction to the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, saying it was difficult to watch because of clear technical flaws rather than heavy punishment. He pointed out that Jake Paul struggled with basic skills like defense, footwork, and responding to combinations. These repeated mistakes made the fight feel unbalanced and showed the big gap in experience. Some moments appeared almost guided, as if the action was slightly controlled to avoid serious danger. While Jake Paul clearly trained hard, Jones felt the mismatch in skill and awareness, along with signs of managed pacing, made the fight uncomfortable for fans expecting real competition. The bout highlighted the risks of mixing celebrity appeal with professional boxing.
Anthony Joshua knocking out and breaking Jake Paul's jaw. Just talk to me right now about the fight itself and then we'll break it down.
Bit of a crap fight, if we're all honest. It was like watching Jaws 2 when all the kids went out on their boats and they were in the middle of the sea and the shark was just surrounding the boat, just like that's what it was like. It was just like a shark circling its prey and just like it was like nibbling and eventually got him. But Jake Paul showed big plums in there, no matter what anybody says about him, because I've seen people say, yeah, he went in there to survive. Yeah, okay, he went in there to survive. He's a guy that's been boxing a couple of years against a unified champion of the world who can really punch. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best fight. It just wasn't the best thing to watch, was it? Like it was just, it weren't great. I just want to see now Tyson Fury against Anthony Joshua. I think at the stages of their careers they're at, AJ and Tyson Fury, we don't need to see interim fights, Andrew. We don't need to see interim fights because they're just potential banana skins. We want to see two of the best heavyweights of this era going at it. And
after the fight, Luke Thomas became a strong critic, questioning the praise Jake Paul received. He argued that facing a top-level fighter like Anthony Joshua should not be celebrated without serious reflection. Thomas said the spectacle around the event distracted people from the real dangers involved. Some observers felt Paul's confidence before the fight and certain actions during it matched rumors that parts of the bout were planned. Thomas warned that praising such events creates a dangerous example by blurring the line between entertainment and real competition.
Surviving kind of feeds into the story of him being perhaps a little bit better than we sometimes think, although I don't really co-sign on that. Let me make the point. The first point is, I think people are overreacting a little bit. People were suggesting when I got on social media that this was like the biggest farce they'd ever seen in their life, and that this was, how could he fight like this, and this was a disaster, and Joshua should have got him out there earlier. There is probably some evidence to suggest that I don't think Joshua was carrying him in the sense of, hey, they coordinated this ahead of time. But was Joshua really stepping on the gas? No, I don't think he was really stepping on the gas. There were times I think he clearly pulled his punches, partly because Jake was squirmy and rotating on the outside. Also in part because I think, as I indicated on Friday, he's watching this guy with pretty bad footwork. He was literally tripping over himself, and he realized he just can't keep this up. So there was that. But people were acting like, how could this be? How could this have happened? Guys, on Friday's MK, and then before that, earlier in the week on Submission Radio, they asked me on Submission Radio, how do you think he's going to fight? And I'm like, he's going to run. And they're like, you don't think he's going to clinch? I'm like, okay, he'll clinch at times, but then the rest of the time, he's going to run. What other way was this going to go? What other way was this?
Shilsonen strongly criticized the match, saying fights like this are far too dangerous to take place normally. He described it as feeling less like a true boxing contest and more like a survival test, with serious physical and reputational risks. Sonnen pointed out that inexperienced fighters facing elite professionals put themselves in extreme danger. The rumors of scripting, combined with these risky matchups, only worsen the situation. He said mixing celebrity culture with boxing threatens the sport's integrity while putting fighters at unnecessary risk. Analysts noticed that Jake Paul appeared unusually cautious at times, raising questions about his intentions. While some saw this as smart, others felt certain moments looked planned to let Joshua dominate without extreme danger.
These guys fought. That was not a boxing match. It just wasn't. Jake Paul had a very healthy fear for his life while he was in there, and he was moving as such. He was staying away from him. He was running away. He was trying to get distance. Then he was trying to step in to win this athletic competition, and then he's trying to get out of the way so that he doesn't get hurt again. I mean, he was fighting. Then it turns to where he can't stay away anymore. So now he's got to go the other way. He's got to go forward. So now he's clinched him. Now he's dropping down to his knees. He's going below the waist. He's getting to double leg positions. He was fighting. These guys were fight. Jake was fighting for his survival, and you could so see it. You could see this animal who's been caged and is just trying to make it through, not even kill its prey, just make it through. And it was incredible. It was really incredible. So on the back end, some of the comments that I made or that I had heard were so confusing to me. It was a very good competition. I will tell you, it breaks my heart too that Anthony Joshua can't get him out of there in one round. Dave Portnoy had made a comment before the fight. He said, I like Jake. I wish well for Jake. Of course I'm taking Joshua. And then Portnoy made his point. And he said, because I believe in boxing. This isn't if I'm cheering for Jake or if I think that Joshua is more experienced or better. I believe in boxing. I believe boxing's real. If boxing is an actual sport, if it is an actual sweet science, then of course a guy that's done it 11 times cannot compete with the Olympic champion.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned for the next one and don't forget to subscribe to The King Boxing.